Hey, Astro Kids, and welcome back. This is your April 2021 horoscope for all air signs. So, if you are a Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, Moon, or Ascendant, this is for you. So, starting off here in the month of April, we are starting off with the moon in Vishaka. From there, it will come into a conjunction in K2 in the Jyeshta Nakshatra. So, we will talk about the moon's transit as we go through the weekly horoscope. But here we will stick to the major planetary shifts that are taking place. On the 5th of April, Jupiter will shift into Aquarius. That is a major playing card in April. So we will talk more about that as we get closer to this date. But this is a major shift as Jupiter is one of our social planets. It is connected to society, right? It is the rules, the philosophies that are structuring society as a whole. So, this is a very important shift as Jupiter is coming out of Capricorn and into Aquarius. Following this on the 6th of April, Mercury comes into a combustion. So Mercury is going to join up with the Sun and Venus. Venus has been in this conjunction for quite a while here as it's been going through the transit of Venus in Aquarius, now in Pisces, where Mercury will meet up. Now, all of these planets, though, are shifting forward into Aries. So we will see on the 9th of April that Venus will shift into Aries. This is Venus's neutral position because Venus is more at home in the sign of Libra, which is opposite to Aries. So these aren't necessarily enemy signs, but there is a neutral relationship that is there. So we'll talk more about what that looks like moving forward in a future video. But with Venus and Aries, this is a much more bold and direct type of energy compared to what we had with Venus in Pisces. Moving forward here on the 11th of April, we will see the new moon in Pisces. So this will happen in the Ravati Nakshatra. And this is a huge shift as we are starting to move into this Aries season. We will see on the 13th of April here that the sun will shift forward into Aries. And remember that the sun is exalted in Aries. So this is a very powerful position, very much focused around the self. Remember that the sun is our identity, our willpower, our name, our status, our fame. The sun is who we become. It is who we aspire to be. And so the sun naturally is going to feel excelled in the sign of Aries, which is all about the identity, all about the self, all about the willpower, the assertiveness. So, very strong and powerful position, depending on where this is in your chart, of course. We will talk more about that as we get into the individual horoscopes for those of you here with air signs. Now, also on the 13th, we will see Mars shift into Gemini. So we have seen this Mars transit of Mars in Taurus as it's been in this conjunction with Rahu. It will leave Rahu behind and shift forward into Gemini here. So this is a major shift. This is an interesting relationship. Mars is definitely looking at Mercury as an enemy. However, Mercury has a neutral relationship to Mars. So we'll talk more about what that looks like, but a little bit more of a difficult combination of Mars and Gemini. Again, more straightforward, more assertive. We will see more so in communication and socializing and connecting, depending on where this is actually positioned in your chart. Following that, on the 16th of April, Mercury will shift into Aries. So, once again, communication, expression, all of this is shifting to be more bold, more assertive, more self initiated. So, we're going to talk more about that. We have a lot to talk about for this month of April. On the 26th, we will have a full moon in Libra. This is happening in the Swati Nakshatra. So, a huge focus around abundance, depending on where this is actually positioned in your chart. But for the most part, for those of you here with an air, moon, or ascendant, this is very beneficial as this full moon will be in your trachona houses. So we'll talk a little bit more about that as we get into your actual individual horoscopes. And also for those of you who wanted me to add in the 3 extra planets, I've added in Pluto, as well as Pluto will station retrograde on the 27th of April. So that is a major component there. A lot in terms of going inward and making these internal changes and growth within yourself. So, major time for change and transformation towards the end of April here. But a lot that is shifting. We have a lot of videos coming up for these major transits of April. So, let's go ahead and jump into the horoscope for those of you with a Gemini moon or Gemini ascendant. And I am using the Zoltan deck for this as well. So starting off here, major shift, we will see Mars move into your first house. Huge. Mars is very powerful in the first house. This will give a lot of you some major confidence, major energy to assert yourself. And this is going to affect your relationships big time as Mars is aspecting over to your 7th and 8th houses. So we're going to see some major shifts in terms of asserting yourself more, conveying the things that you want to express more within your actual relationships. This is also going to be aspecting over to your 4th house. So many of you may feel a bit more defensive, a bit more keen towards standing up for yourself. A lot of you having this more protective attitude as this is also aspecting over to the 4th house. So major shifts here as there's more energy, there's more assertiveness, more confidence to assert yourself. Now also we have a full moon happening in your 5th house. This is a major time as we come to this full moon of, again, receiving some good fortune. This is a Trachona house for those of you with a Gemini moon or Gemini ascendant. This is a major opportunity to receive some good luck in your life. And again, you want to look at everything in your chart, but this can be a great time for receiving abundance, for receiving gains, as this full moon will be aspecting over to your your 10th house of career. So, receiving these gains, these benefits from your career, from your status, huge time for this. You can receive fame, you can level up in this particular area. So, big time you will see being more creative, being more expressive, being more assertive can really help you with this abundance. Now, also, we are going to see Jupiter that's been here in your 8th house for some time now, shifting forward into your 9th house. Extremely beneficial placement for Jupiter. This is a huge time where you can receive a lot of knowledge, a lot of guidance. And for a lot of you, as Jupiter has been in your 8th house, these major transformation, these major changes that you have been going through is gifting you this knowledge, this wisdom where this is going to help you level up in a huge way. From that 9th house, Jupiter is looking back over to your 3rd house. And so this can help you tremendously with your skills, with your knowledge of moving forward, moving up with this position. Also, from this placement, Jupiter will aspect over to your 12th house. So, this is a time, once again, where you're receiving a lot of wisdom, a lot of guidance from this position. This is very beneficial. Now, also, Jupiter is going to aspect from this position over to your fifth house. Once again, huge time for gaining insight, gaining growth, gaining some new information and wisdom. This is affecting those of you with a Gemini moon and ascendant in a big way where you're using your skills, you're using your creativity, you're using your knowledge, and once again, receiving big gains from this full moon. Now, also, we have this big stack of planets that's been sitting here in your 10th house. Major playing cards for those of you with a Gemini moon or Gemini ascendant. We have the Sun, Venus, and Mercury, which is going to shift forward into your 11th house. So, for all the work that you've done, everything that you've been working towards, once again, this gives you the tools, the skills to receive some major gains and achievements. And as we get to this full moon, of course, the sun is going to face over to this full moon along with Venus and Mercury as they're in this combustion. Lots of creativity, lots of skills, and especially as Mercury and Venus are beneficial planets for those of you with a Gemini moon or Gemini ascendant. This is a huge time to use your craft, to use your skills, to receive some major gains. We also have a new moon that is happening in your 10th house as well. And so, once again, you can see some shifts happening in your career where you could level up, you can take things to the next level. You could be starting a new project, a new career with this position. Major time to move in a new direction here with this new moon that will be happening in the Ravati Nakshatra. Now, Pluto is also going to station retrograde in that eighth house. Again, you all are going through these major changes, and it's time to let go. With Pluto retrograde in the eighth, time to let go of any fears, any doubts, anything that is holding you back. Remember that that eighth house is connected to fear, death, obsession. This is a very intense placement. And so, major time of releasing, major time of endings. From that eighth house, Pluto is looking at your second house. You can receive some major wealth and benefits from letting go of the past, letting go of the things that have taken hold of you and have controlled a lot of your reality for some time now. So, this is time to clear things out. This is time to do your spring cleaning and actually make those internal changes that are going to spring you into success. Now, first card here is the Four of Wands. This is once again time to build up your foundation. A lot of you are working towards something big at this time, and this is going to benefit you in a big way. Holding that confidence, holding that self esteem, working towards your goals, leveling up, holding that status for yourself is huge. Following that, we have the Five of Wands. Don't fight against yourself. Hold that confidence within yourself, hold that self esteem. Once again, many of you are trying to fight against what it is that you really want to achieve and accomplish. This is a huge time to believe in yourself, a huge time to take a step back from this defensiveness and allow yourself to go into those areas that need work on. Take a step back and look at the situation differently. Look at it as what is really happening. How do I really feel? How can I work through these issues? This is going to help you tremendously. Once again, with that Pluto retrograde in your eighth, lots of internal work that you can do at this time. Following that, we have the Three of Swords. So, once again, this is a big time to use your skills, use your skill sets to work towards something good. Leave behind the sorrows, leave behind the past that is clouding your judgment. So, for those of you who have been holding on to these things that are causing some suffering, causing some pain, we have the Death card next to this. So it's time for that to come to an end. It's time to let go, to transition into the next chapter of your life. Following this, we have the Temperance card. Again, find a peace within yourself. Mars is going to be looking at your fourth house And we have all these planets aspecting from the fourth house, from the 10th house to your fourth house, along with the new moon. This is time for a new chapter, a new phase in your life where you're more happy, you're more in tune with your inner peace and with that sanctuary that you have built for yourself. Time to let go of the worries, the struggles that have been holding you back, and to step into your power. From there, we have the Devil card once again. Time to clear up some old attachments. Let go and move into this new chapter. Make a choice, rise up to a decision with the Judgment card as our last card for those of you with a Gemini moon or Gemini ascendant. This is your time to step up to the occasion, to make a judgment call within yourself. What will it be? What will the final outcome be? What will the choice be? What will you choose to do? Will you stay stuck where you've been, or are you willing to rise up to the call? That was your horoscope for those of you with a Gemini moon or Gemini ascendant. Let's go ahead and move forward here to those of you with a Libra moon or Libra ascendant. So, starting off here, we do have a full moon that will take place later on in your first house, and so this is a major time where a lot of you are letting go of some old subconscious junk that needs to be thrown out. This moon has been previously in your 12th house. This is major, major time as this has been building up to your first house to let go of anything that you've been holding on to subconsciously that no longer serves you. It's a big time for a cleanup as you're coming into this time. This is giving you the opportunity to receive abundance. But in order to do this, you need to make space. You need to make room for this abundance and growth to come into your life. Now, we also have Jupiter that is leaving your fourth house, moving ahead into the fifth house. Big break for a lot of you. This is a Jupiter that you've been sitting with, you've been sitting on, working internally, gaining some wisdom, gaining some insight internally, and now Jupiter is progressing into that fifth house, where this is time where you can actually use the things that you've learned, use the things that you've been sitting with internally, and apply it. Jupiter from that fifth house is going to be aspecting over to your 11th house. Big time for gains. This is also going to be aspecting over to your ninth house. And so this is a huge time, once again, to use the wisdom, use the knowledge, use the skills that you've gained from your experiences and put it towards your work, towards your efforts. This is a beautiful time to progress, to advance, to move up with everything that you've been working on, everything that you've been learning and building internally. Jupiter from there is also going to aspect over to your first house. And so this is once again time for your growth and expansion to take place. We also have Pluto that will station retrograde in your fourth house. And so, still doing these changes, still doing these internal transformations. But from everything that you have done already, this is taking you further. And this is time to go deeper. This is time to look at, okay, you've made changes on the external, but what is it that is happening internally? What is the root of everything? So this Pluto retrograde taking you even deeper inward to look at the areas that are preventing you from growing. This is aspecting over to your 10th house. What is stopping you from reaching that level that you are trying to attain? So some deep internal reflection is necessary for those of you with a Libra moon or Libra ascendant. We have a new moon that is taking place in your sixth house. This is a huge time to shift your direction. This is time once again to let go of those old subconscious attachments. From that sixth house, the new moon is aspecting over to your 12th house. What are the old things that you've been holding on to that no longer benefit you? Keep your wellness in mind with this being in the sixth house. This sixth house dealing with illnesses, diseases, but also as it's aspecting over to that 12th house that is dealing with mental illnesses Is there some anxiety, some fear, some difficulties internally that needs to be flushed out as well so that you can enter into this new phase of wellness, this new direction where things are more organized, more healthy, more so supporting your goals and visions. Now we have this huge stellium that's been sitting here in your sixth house. We talked a little bit about for some of you who have been creating things, some of you who have potentially been introducing new things into your environment, whether that's a pet, a child, a project, whatever the case may be. This is all shifting forward into the seventh house. And so a lot of you are getting some support through others. A lot of you are getting recognition for these new things that have been unfolding in your life. This is a combust Venus and combust Mercury. A little bit difficult from this position. Venus being your actual ruler in this combustion. So you want to be careful of any sort of difficulties that could arise. Remember that Venus is controlling your eighth house as well. So, this is a time to really pay attention to all of the areas that you've been growing and working through. Any potential issues that could arise from this is something to look at. Mercury also being a beneficial planet for you, but being in this combustion is quite difficult from the seventh house. So, this is a time where you want to pay attention if there's anyone who is there to support you, any sort of guidance with Mercury controlling your ninth house. You want to take that. You want to make sure that you are receiving the support that others are giving you and not pushing it away. This is a huge thing is making sure that you are being open to the things that are there to help you through this process. Mars is also going to be moving into your ninth house as it's been sitting here in your eighth house. Big break. Mars is very difficult in that eighth house, especially as it is a Marca planet for those of you with a Libra moon or Libra ascendant. Mars shifting forward into your ninth house, really giving you the energy, the drive to advance, to move forward once again. You can see some major growth happening here as Mars has been in this difficult placement where some of you may have been experiencing some accidents, some issues, some conflicts arising. Now, Mars moving into this ninth house is giving a little bit of a break here. It's putting more of this energy into your ability to learn, to experience, to level up in this area. From that position, Mars is also looking at your 12th house. And so this is an experience of really going inward and finding that growth. Once again, Mars is here to give you the energy, but there's a lot that you have to release and let go in order to grow. So this is a major time of letting go, releasing all of the things that are no longer serving you. Also, from this position, Mars is going to look at your fourth house. And so, this is a major time as you're clearing all these things, finding the peace in it, finding the peace in being able to let go of the attachments that are no longer serving you, finding peace in the support of those closest to you, those who want to help you through this process in a huge way. So Mars is giving some major beneficial results for those of you with a Libra moon, Libra ascendant, along with Jupiter. Now let's take a look at the cards. The first card here is the Seven of Swords. Once again, it is time to move on. It is time to throw out the garbage and move forward in a new direction. Make a choice about where you are going. The Five of Wands is in reverse. A lot of you are here to remove the conflict, to remove the obstacles, to let go of these old stages and phases in your life. And especially here with the Devil card, along with this, this is time to clear out some old things that are no longer serving you, things that you no longer need to depend on and hold a value in your life. This is time to cut cords with those attachments. We have the Judgment card. What will your choice be? Will you stand up and make a final judgment about what direction you're going in? Are you staying in the past or are you standing up to the call? We have the Eight of Wands as well. So it's time once again to remove those obstacles out of the way. A lot of you have not been seeing the path in front of you clearly. Lots of difficulties and conflicts standing in the way, slowing things down. But now you're starting to pick up some momentum. You're starting to gain some inner power and strength to push back against some of these conflicts and blockages that have been here for quite a bit. We have the King of Pentacles as well. This is a huge time for self mastery. Once again, a lot of you are leveling up, you're moving up, you are sitting in that position of power and stability. So, this is time to gain back your foundation, gain back your strength and your stability as you are moving forward here. This is a big time where a lot of you can level up within your business, within your education, whatever the case may be. This is a time to keep moving forward, progressing. With the Four of Cups, once again, you don't want to deny any sort of support that's coming in. So, this is a potential thing that can come up for those of you with a Libra moon or Libra ascendant is looking within yourself. Are you denying? Are you pushing things away? Are you creating this distance where you are not allowing that support that you need to come in? Lastly, here we have the Five of Cups. Time to leave the past behind once again. And a lot of you are doing this. So, this is a huge moment of releasing, of letting go with this full moon that is going to be in your first house. That was your horoscope for April 2020 for those of you with a Libra moon or Libra ascendant. Let's go ahead and shift forward here to those of you with an Aquarius moon or Aquarius ascendant. So, starting off here, we have Jupiter that is going to shift back from your 12th house into your first house. Big moment. A lot of you have been doing some major subconscious shifts and growth internally. And this has been quite a difficult time for those of you with a Saturnian influence, especially as Saturn and Jupiter have been back in that 12th house in this major conjunction that started off last year, along with Pluto. Jupiter progressing into your first house is a big break. This is time for a lot of you to step it up. This is time where Jupiter is finally giving you some great results here in terms of your career, in terms of your growth. Remember that Jupiter rules your two houses related to wealth, second and 11th. So this is a huge time for those of you with an Aquarius ascendant or Aquarius moon to expand upon yourself, to grow, to level up, to move forward. Big things that are shifting. You can find yourself moving in a new direction, moving towards a new vision, a new dream. And this is aspecting over to your seventh house. And so this can make room for new partnerships as well as these doors are opening. But this is a final moment of this releasing of things that no longer serve you. This is a final moment of the things that have been out of your control, finally coming to a final result, a final conclusion as Jupiter comes forward into this first house. We also have Pluto that is stationing retrograde back in your 12th house. So you're still going through these unconscious changes and shifts. But with Jupiter coming out into your first house, there's awareness here. There is understanding with Jupiter here in that first house. And a lot of you looking to grow, looking to expand, looking to gain some wisdom and understanding with this shift of Jupiter into the first. Now we have this big stack of planets that has been setting here in your second house, this stellium of Mercury, Venus, and the Sun that's shifting forward into your third house. And so this is a major time of creativity, of self expression. With all these planets, the Sun being very creative, Venus being very creative, and Mercury being very technical. This is a time where you can apply your skills and you can apply the things that you've been working towards, the things that you've been wanting to see moving forward as these planets shift into your third house. This is going to be aspecting over to your ninth house, and we will see a full moon in that ninth house. So, big time where you can receive some major benefits around your growth, around your education, around the things that you are trying to apply skill wise. This is a great time for those of you who want to publish something, those of you who want to work in a field that has to do with communication, with writing. All of these things can be very successful with the conclusion of this full moon. You can see that this is a major time to complete those things that you have still needed to work on. We are going to have a new moon as well in that second house. Big time for those of you to work towards something new, building a new foundation for a lot of you. And this could be a new phase in your life where you need to support your family, to support your business, to support your finances. But for the most part, this gives you some great strength and determination to work towards a new mission, a new purpose, a new goal. From that second house, this new moon will aspect over to your eighth house. Big time where you can see some major shifts happen, where once again you're entering into a brand new phase of your life, brand new chapter, where a lot of things are moving out of your way, a lot of conflicts, a lot of difficulties, a lot of internal issues are shifting and transforming, making way for you to step forward. Jupiter, also forgot to mention this, but Jupiter is also going to be aspecting over to your fourth house. So, this is a major time where you can see some happiness. You can see some growth from this position. This is also going to aspect over to your eighth house. So, Jupiter's lighting up these major houses where you can see some internal spiritual growth. And again, a lot of you are going to see some major shifts and changes that are going to bring some positivity back into your life in those areas where you've seen struggles and difficulties. Need to release, though, need to let go, need to come to that conclusion and understanding with all of this. We're also going to see Mars that will be positioned in your fourth house. This is a major time of those of you feeling much more protective, much more defensive in some areas with this Mars in the fourth. So you want to make sure that you're open to the changes that are happening. Some of you are feeling this protective mode with Mars there in the fourth. This can be very difficult. You want to make sure that you're moving forward. And we're going to see this as Mars shifts forward into your fifth house, where this gives you much more energy towards being creative, towards working towards your projects. So once Mars does this shift into Gemini, this will bring about some major great results from this position. Mars will be aspecting over to your 11th house, lots of energy to move towards your hopes, your dreams, your wishes, your long term goals. You can have much more energy and determination to get towards this point. This is also going to be aspecting from that fifth house over to your eighth house as well. So, this is a major time, once again, where you're seeing all these shifts, you're seeing these changes. The aspect over to your eighth house can be a bit difficult. This is Mars with an aspect on the eighth of crisis. So, you can see some major changes and major events happening here, but this is ultimately going to take you to where you want to be. So this is a major time of once again clearing out those things that no longer serve you, where you can feel like this is a crisis, like this is a tower moment for some of you, but this is a major time of clearing the way. This is a major time of moving forward in a big way with all of this happening. This is also going to aspect over to your 12th house. Major endings, major conclusions, once again, where you are making room, making way to succeed in a big way. So let's go ahead and take a look at the cards that came up for those of you with an Aquarius moon, Aquarius ascendant. first card here is the Ace of Swords. Once again, new direction, new purpose, new mission for a lot of you. This is making room, making way for you to step into a new direction. So for those of you who are feeling like everything's falling apart, everything is collapsing in this moment, this is making way for you to initiate into a new direction here, to make a new choice, a new decision, and this is going to lead you to some major growth. Our next card here is the Nine of Swords. Time to make peace with these endings, these conclusions that have come. Make some peace with this. Let go of those things that are no longer serving you. So, for the burdens, for all the things that have been there that you've been carrying, holding on to, time to let it go. Time to move on to the next phase. So, even though this might be very difficult for some of you here with an Aquarius moon, Aquarius ascendant to stay in this area where things are falling apart, they're ending, it is time for the conclusion with this Nine of Swords. Our next card here is the Judge, the Justice card. So this is a time where everything is coming into perspective, right? There's an outcome, there's a conclusion, there's clarity and understanding on what is happening. So all of this ending, all of this conclusion, this is bringing you to a final point, a final decision. This is time to move forward and to let go of everything that is coming up at this point. So, again, lots of things coming to the surface with Jupiter that's shifting forward into your first house. We also have the Seven of Pentacles. This is time to start planting your seeds towards your new path, your new direction. Start to build up and to put in the work of what it is that you are going to accomplish, what you're going to achieve here. This is time to let yourself flow into this new direction. Following that, we also have the Empress. So, this is time for you to fall in love with your new mission. This is time for you to understand that your worth, your security, your confidence, that is still a part of you. A lot of you are undervaluing yourselves when you're seeing these collapses, these changes within your life. But this is your time to step up. This is your time to believe in yourself and to make room for the next chapter, the next phase, because this is going to lead to something good for a lot of you. This is going to lead to something major that is going to be successful. So, everything that's ending, everything that's dying, everything that you're having to release at this time is taking you to something better. Following that, we have the Temperance card. So, once again, time to make peace with the old and find that peace of mind within yourself. There's a lot that you have to let go at this point that is no longer going to serve you by trying to hold on to the past, trying to stay in the past. It's not going to stay. A lot of this is going to come to its end, and this is time to make peace with it. We have the 10 of Pentacles. So, once again, as you're releasing, as you're making peace with all of this, you are going to find yourself in a place of success. So this is leading up to something. This is happening for a purpose. This is a big thing to remember for those of you with an Aquarius moon and Aquarius ascendant. As here in the month of April, if you're seeing shifts, if you're seeing changes, if you're seeing endings, that this is going to take you to something better. So you must believe in yourself. You must stay positive. This is highly important towards getting towards this new path. We have the Six of Wands to end it all off. So this is once again time to move in that new direction, time to use the skills, use the knowledge that you've had, use everything that you have gained to actually put it towards something new. So it is time to make a practical plan, take a practical approach to all these shifts and changes instead of trying to go backwards, using what you know, using the skills that you have to move towards what is right in front of you. So that was your horoscope for those of you with an Aquarius moon, Aquarius ascendant, and this has been your horoscope for the month of April 2021 for all air signs. I hope you all enjoyed this. If you like this video, feel free to leave a like as well as a comment. If you are new to this channel, don't forget to hit the subscribe button along with the notification bell so that you don't miss out on any new content. We have so much to talk about here for the month of April, along with everything that is coming with the eclipses as we're moving into the summer. So you don't want to miss out. Make sure you hit that notification bell. If you'd like to know about Vedic astrology more in depth, I do have a class available in the Facebook group Astrology Lessons with Daquan Jones, along with on Patreon. So all of that information is down below in the description along with the comments if you are interested. If you have anything additional that you'd like to add, if this resonated with you, if this helped you in any way, if you have any additional questions that you'd like to ask me about Vedic astrology, leave it down below. I will cover it in a future video. I want to thank you all so much for joining. I hope you have a great day, and I will see you in the next video.